Hi there, Jasco here. Today we're going to be learning two chords, an A chord and a D chord. And then in the next lesson we're going to take those two chords plus one that we already learned in the last lesson, E, and we'll make a little song out of it. But first let's look at those two chords. So an A chord, I'm using my first finger on the second fret of the D string. My middle finger is going to be playing the second fret of the G string. And my ring finger is going to be on the second fret of the B string. So I've got all three fingers on the second fret of three adjacent strings. So that's going to probably feel like you really have to cram those in tight. And then for strumming, I'm going to strum everything except for the low E. So I'll strum 5 strings: A, D, G, B, and high E. There's our A chord. So let's take a closer look at that. So here's a close-up of the A chord. Index finger, D string, second fret. Middle finger, G string, second fret. And ring finger, B string, second fret. When you're first learning a chord, you'll probably have to build it one finger at a time, but eventually you'll get to where you can just put the whole chord down simultaneously. The other chord that we're doing today is a D chord. That sounds like that. And with this chord, I've got my first finger at the second fret of the G string, my middle finger at the second fret of the high E string, and then right between them, I've got my ring finger at the third fret of the D string. And with D, I'm going to strum 4 strings: D, G, B, and high E. So I won't be strumming the A string or the low E string. And here is a close-up of the D chord. Index finger on the first fret, or I'm sorry, the second fret of the G string. Middle finger on the second fret of the high E string, and then ring finger right between them on the third fret of the B string. So after you get those two chord shapes memorized, the next thing that you want to do for now is just practice switching between them. So there's an A, there's a D, then back to A, then D. One thing to look for when you're switching chords is any fingers that might be common to both chords, or any notes. So at first glance, every finger is going to a different place. However, one thing that's kind of common to both chords is my ring finger is on the B string on both chords. So when I'm switching from an A to a D, instead of picking all my fingers up and then making a D and then going back to an A, I'll keep my ring finger down and just slide it up and go to a D. When I go back to an A, I can just slide that. So that saves me a little bit of work and acts as kind of a guide in moving to the next chord. So when I'm doing that, I'm not lifting my ring finger up at all. I might also play each string individually to make sure that all the strings are ringing out. On that A chord, when you first play it, that high E string might get muted by touching the edge of your third finger if you're not playing right on the tip of your finger. And I want that sound, I want to try to avoid that sound if I can. work on that for a little bit, and next lesson we'll come back with an easy song using those two chords plus an E chord.